That's exactly what I mean when I say horrible, horrible, horrendous UX. Terrible, disgusting. Fire the designers for not putting their foot down and say, yo, listen, this is a terrible UX. We can't give users that. If you've been living under a rock, the Rabbit R1 is an AI device that claims to be your future voice assistant. Why? Because it's powered by natural language interface. And what it means is that it's like a real language. You can talk to it like you would to a normal human, and it would understand everything you say. I am so sorry about the noise, by the way, but I wasn't planning on buying this product. So let's watch Marques Brownie's review for it. And I'm really gonna explain to you why I think it has a hideous UX and UI as well. Like the worst I've seen in a long, long time.
This is a virtual assistant in a box. Thing has one button on the right side. That's the one you press and hold to ask it questions. And then instead of a projector, it actually does have a built-in screen here.
It takes like 4 or 5 seconds.
The average distance between Earth and the Moon is approximately 384,400 kilometers.
It basically always shows this bouncing rabbit all the time. It's how you know it's awake. You hit that button once to put it to sleep, or it would do that automatically after a few seconds. And then to get to settings, there's no button to press for that. You just shake it.
The fact that you gotta shake it to get to the settings, I don't get it. If I'm supposed to wear it all day, like in my pockets or in my bag, it's gonna shake all the time. So it means that I will always like go to the settings. I honestly don't get it. Let's just look at the UI for a second. So many things I don't like about it. I mean, I can understand if they say that this font, it looks so big compared to his thumb. Like, I don't know how much pixel font that is, but it looks huge. If you compare it to like the phones that we use every day and like the font size that we're used to when we're looking close at the screen, this looks huge. And also there's like the title of the setting. It's taking a lot of space at the top. And once you start scrolling, let's see if he scrolls, it just stays there. And for such a small screen, I would utilize every place on the screen that I have. It's a lot. And now let's talk about like the selection, like the Bluetooth one. Again, why such huge bold text? And I really don't like the margins here. Everything looks so dense. It gives me anxiety to look at it. It's so not easy on the eyes, you know what I mean? I don't like it. No.
Scroll wheel and select with the button.
You see, he starts scrolling and the settings take so much space. Like, why not like make it an icon when you start scrolling or like something like that? It doesn't look like a product that came out in 2024. I don't know if it's intentional, but I think it's not aesthetic or attractive at all.
How you get around the UI. So the other two things it has are the scroll wheel
and also like scrolling this button instead of having like a touch screen. Are we back in like times before iPhone? It reminds me of the very first iPods that you had to like scroll. It's crazy to me. Like touchscreens have proven to be so intuitive that even a toddler can get it in his hands and start scrolling and touching stuff. And they're taking us 20 years back, even more. What year is it? They're taking us like 20 years back, more than 20 years back, and I need to now scroll like this? Bonkers, crazy. And I would say, I know that colors look off like in real life. I'm not even sure that the black and the orange, I'm not sure it's gonna be good like contrast for like visually impaired people. Really wanna check like the contrast. So I'm gonna eyedrop these two colors. There are online checkers. So as you can see, it gets a poor rating. So let's see, because the colors are maybe a bit off in the lens, let's see even if it has to be this bright in order to be good. I'm not sure how it looks like in real life, but from the footage, it looks like it's gonna be poor contrast.
So the scroll wheel for navigating around the UI instead of the screen.
What is this font size? For real though, what is this font size? This is huge. This is huge. And the title, it looks like the title is like going from side to side. I'm not hating on it. It's fine. Why do I need these big numbers? Like everything UI wise is so poorly made here. The gap between each element, like the typography here is just not it. I'm sorry that I'm so shocked. There's supposed to be like, that like epiphany of like innovation. Look innovative. I'm like, this gets me really emotional. Like it gets me because it's just, I feel like they only put like engineering in it and they didn't like consult designers. Like that's how it looks like. It's crazy to me.
Then of
crazy.
course,
I want to take it
instead of
back. Look how much area of the screen they're not utilizing in such a small screen. It is crazy to me. Insane. I'm sorry. Insane.
Why it's odd in a second.
Crazy.
But then of course the AI assistant is multimodal, and so you can use
And like to see the scroller and know that I can't click it. Crazy. Okay, how did we get this back button? Did I miss?
is multimodal, and so you can use vision.
Oh, so the back is only when I scroll down? Am I right? Only when I get to the bottom, it shows me a back button, so I don't know where the back button is there. Maybe I'll talk about it. Let's see.
Questions about what it sees. With this one, you double tap to swivel it open, and then press and hold to ask. I don't know, what type of plant is this?
Double tap to open a camera is actually really cool. Like we've seen similar stuff in like iPhone and Android. Again, very strange UI decision. You have like sharp corners, and then at the bottom you have like very, very round corners. This looks very strange. And then the rabbit, I mean, I get it that the rabbit is here to show that he's like analyzing and thinking, but this UI decision is so strange to me. So strange.
Taking a look now. The plant in the image appears to be a Monstera deliciosa, also known as a Swiss cheese plant.
Wait. This is a Monstera deliciosa, okay? This is not a Monstera. Oh my god, I hope he knows that.
Plant. This is a type of tropical, climbing evergreen plant native to southern Mexico and parts of Central America. The large, glossy green leaves.
It's very wrong because indeed it is very wrong. Yo, that is so funny.
Pointed it at my computer screen with a really long email on it and asked it for a summary, and it just reads it instantly and gives me a summary of it. It's done that with articles too.
But would I need a device that looks at the email and tells me what the summary is? Like, I can do it. I can do it like with an app. I don't need a device for that. I can put it in ChatGPT and say, get summary. Instead of taking another device out, taking a photo of my phone, and then it just doesn't, like this device doesn't make sense. So he says that the battery is very poor, and like, having the rabbit go up and down all day, again, I get that they want to say, hey, we're listening, we're here, but do they really need it? Like, I know that Siri is always there if I call it.
Like 4 hours. Then you have to charge it multiple times per day. Also, it took 45 minutes to charge this tiny battery from 0 to 100. And it's also just straight up missing a ton of what I would consider just basic features. Like they can't set alarms, can't set timers, it can't record videos, can't record photos, can't send emails, there's no calendar built in. There's just...
I didn't know that it can't like send emails and stuff, because you can buy a SIM for this device. Like that's the whole purpose of like an assistant, like have alarms, set events.
It also does still hallucinate and confidently answer questions wrong. Like my baseline of asking a question that I know the answer to and then getting the wrong answer.
I will give it that. Looks wise, the device itself, that's what I said. I feel they put all the engineering and didn't like consult designers at all. Industrial design, yes. The box itself is very well designed, but not like UX and UI designers.
Yeah, they really love their analog controls. This scroll wheel here doesn't surprise me, but it's actually really frustrating to use.
So not only you need to scroll, it's not as sensitive, so you put a lot of effort in scrolling. That's literally the meaning of bad UX. That's a bad user experience. It's like, oh, we're gonna take all the innovation that's been happening in the last 20 years and we're gonna shit on it and give you something that is really hard to use. We're gonna make your user experience worse than what you're used to. Make it make sense.
So they've dialed down the sensitivity of the scroll wheel. So
Like I'm pissed. I'm getting pissed now. I'm not even kidding. It's so annoying.
actually super slow. Like there's a surprising amount of scroll motion required to go down one line in the settings. And then there's no haptic feedback here as you're scrolling to help you feel it out. You use the button to select, but then you've also noticed there's no back button anywhere on this device. So to go
That's what I was wondering with the back button.
back up a level, you have to scroll all the way back up to the top every single time.
No way. That's exactly what I mean when I say horrible, horrendous UX. Terrible, disgusting. Fire the designers for not putting their foot down and say, yo, listen, this is a terrible UX. We can't give users that. If there was a UX designer here, I'm sorry, but that's terrible job. Wow.
Change brightness or volume, you actually need two hands. So you just go into brightness to select and you hold the button with one hand and then scroll the scroll wheel.
No way. Tell me that this is intuitive. If anyone would want to defend this design, feel free. Let me know in the comments why you think this is a good design and why you want to purchase this device. UX wise, this is like the epiphany of bad UX. It's really like we're gonna make your life terrible.
I feel like a lot of these problems would be solved if this was a touchscreen.
Absolutely.
So what if I told you this is a touchscreen and they just don't really let you use it for almost anything?
That's
like moving through these
crazy.
menus would be easier if I could just tap what I wanted to, right? Going back after a long scroll would be easier if I could just flip scroll back to the top of
Look how fast he's scrolling with his thumb and how slow it is. Let's watch it again.
the list
Look
and hit
how
back.
fast.
But you can't. The only terminal enabled, you can turn it sideways, a keyboard pops up, and you
If I'm supposed to wear it in my pocket, it's gonna, every time that it's gonna be like horizontal, then it's gonna pop up the keyboard. I mean, I'm just talking about like the new ones. First of all, why do I need a keyboard on this device if the whole purpose of it is like a voice assist? Like, why do I even need a keyboard? Give me one use case. I am speechless. And I really agree with Marquez when he says like, if it's a touchscreen, make it a touchscreen. Why all the complexity? This is like the opposite of why Apple is so good. Like Apple gave us like minimalistic, only the buttons we need, only the functions we need. And here it's like the opposite. Like we're gonna make everything very hard for you. The device is gonna be simplistic and nice, but using it is gonna be a nightmare.
you can type your questions and get text answers, which is great. And you can move between letters with the scroll wheel.
Why?
It's kind of a neat feature, I guess.
Why?
but
Why would I do that if I can go to my phone and Google stuff?
Why can't we use the touchscreen for anything else?
And also, contrast-wise, I am not sure that this color on the black is as contrast. Maybe the camera makes it look like strange, but also the font here looks like DOS. Maybe that's the purpose, and maybe that was intentional of this design. I don't think it's cute. I don't think it looks good. In my opinion, this looks terrible.
Why
sorry.
can't we use the touchscreen for anything else? Is it just them trying not to look too much like a smartphone?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't want to talk about the price. I'm more into the UX and the UI, but I wouldn't spend $200 on it. I mean, I'm sorry that I'm shitting on this product so much. I'm just so skeptical of why someone would ever need it.
It'll play Spotify songs. Like I can ask it for a song and it'll try to play the right one and it'll show you. Look
at the UI. Look at this. Look how close it is. Look at all these gaps. It just looks so bad. Is this like the progress?
info you need on the
is,
touchscreen
yes.
to confirm or refine the actions you're taking.
Oof.
But even now, they kind of work. Like I've already had issues with it playing the wrong song. I've also seen other people already have issues with the DoorDash app getting things wrong, which is even more frustrating. Now, they've also theoretically started working on something called a generative UI, but that's also still theoretical, and hopefully with enough updates then it's ready and it's what we promised.
I wanted to say it really reminds me of the Cybertruck. Like in the events, when they present a new product, they're like, oh, it's gonna have this and this and this. but then when they release the product, it doesn't have like half of the functions. And you know what? That is, you can hate and love Apple, it's fine, but that's something about Apple that I actually really appreciate. They take their time and they will delay a launch if like they don't think the product is perfect. Like you've seen these videos, there are a lot of things that I think Apple does really shitty. I'm not like a fangirl. I'm just saying that's one thing I do appreciate about them.
That's my dream. I want that to happen, and I'm interested that these different companies are approaching it from different angles. But this is also so clearly going to take a lot of time.
I agree with him, but my take on it, until these devices are going to be like the premise that they want to be, I think that Apple and Android will do something much better. Would you try this device? Would you buy it? Did you buy it? Please let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next week.